It's quite a significant difference, and effectively we're transforming our DNA. You know, a telco is pretty much an infrastructure business. You build infrastructure, you build capacity. There is a lot of technology in there, make no mistake. But it's a different kind of DNA, and a lot of the services that are used by customers are intuitive.
Right.
They don't need to develop a lot of skills to use them. To transform to a digital company, we have to transform our competence, and we're transforming from an infrastructure company business to pretty much a platform business. So we have to transform our competence in the commercial front. How do you acquire and retain customers for digital services, financial services, digital services, consumption of content, etc. And so our competence in how do you market to those kind of people? How do you retain them? Understanding what their needs are, needs that are not as intuitive as the need to make a phone call, send a message, send a picture, etc., etc. And developing products to suit that need that are ahead of the curve of the products that are already in the market. So it's a huge transformation in terms of the personality of MTN.
Right.
And what's that's quite challenging. You see, when a company is large and successful, the primary focus for shareholders and people who govern those kind of businesses is actually protecting that revenue base. And at times, to transform yourself so radically, you almost have to destroy your old identity and recreate a new one, which within itself poses risks to protecting that revenue base that we make of telco. So it's a transition we're going through as aggressively as we can.
Right.
Takes a lot of change. You have to create structures to grow those new businesses. We have a chief digital officer as an example. We've established our fintech company, which has Momo PSP. We've brought in specialists from Ghana who have rolled this kind of services out. And we need a lot more agility than the traditional infrastructure telecoms company. So, I mean, we could talk for ages on this, but I hope that gives some sense of.
Yes, it definitely does. Did you have to do restructuring of the actual org? So, like, did any you know when you're trying to streamline for a different DNA, I would imagine that there would be some restructuring, but we never heard of anything. There's a bloodbath in the telco, in the technology industry, but we haven't heard anything. So I think I'm more amazed that this transition or this transformation is happening, which in my mind would mean that you're upskilling as well your actual human capacity that you have, right? As opposed to what we've seen other places when people are trying to transform themselves, where there will be a bloodbath. But bloodbath, I just mean like there will be a lot of
headcount.
Yes, exactly.
So look, we are transforming ourselves, and we are integrating our digital competence into what we have currently. There's no news about the bloodbath because I think we've been very efficient. We haven't grown our core functions at the speed at which our top line has grown. So we have space to recruit the resources for the new business lines that we're pursuing. What often happens is companies get too bloated.
Right.
And if they want to start getting new competencies, new executives, new managers, they can't bear that cost. So they have to cut down drastically the old structure to accommodate the space for new structure. But because we've been focused on efficiency all along, we've been able to grow those areas of new revenue streams. Broadband, we have a chief broadband officer, we have a chief digital officer, both of them ladies, by the way. And then we have a CEO of Momo PSP and our financial services business. And we've grown those structures as we continue to transform the competence of the people that we have focused on the core business into a much more digital space.